Tonight on the News Hour, Boko Haram strikes again, 40 farmers killed in Borno. Lagos Assembly removes Speaker Obasa over fraud allegations, swears in first female speaker. Price war looms as Chad, Ghana undercut Nigerian hoarders. On the foreign scene, Ugandan opposition leader faces death penalty charge. Good evening and welcome to the News Hour live on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Borno State, where suspected Boko Haram terrorists have reportedly killed at least 40 farmers in a deadly attack on Kayakura village in a farming community in Dorong Baga ward in Kukawa local government area of the state on Sunday. Security sources disclosed that the attack occurred at around 4:30 p.m., leaving dozens of the farmers missing. This tragedy comes just 24 hours after another attack in Chibok in the southern part of the state, where 2 people were reportedly killed and a church set ablaze. According to a local source, the attackers stormed the village in large numbers, unleashing sporadic gunfire and causing chaos. While the Borno State Police Command and Lieutenant Colonel A.Y. Jingina, spokesperson for Operation Hadinkai, are yet to comment on the incident, the State Commissioner of Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, confirmed the attack in a statement on Monday. He urged the armed forces to intensify efforts to track and neutralize the perpetrators. The governor of the state, Professor Babagana Zulum, has expressed his condolences to the victims and their families. He assured the public that efforts are underway to locate those still missing and reunite them with their loved ones. A little earlier, my colleague Sumaya Abubakar spoke with Daily Trust Northeast Bureau Chief Hamisu Matazu on the latest development.
Today's attack equally come as a surprise to people, though there is trouble in that area, but with the recent operation of the military in that location, people have confidence over the area. And suddenly, yesterday, this attack ensued and killing over 40 people. And based on the government responded after we broke the news, the state government issued a release confirming the attack. And the governor sympathized with the victims and called on the security agencies to ensure that they get to the root of the matter. Notwithstanding of recent the attacks that are happening in different parts of the state, especially in Damboa, where two attacks were launched on the military formations, and this one on the farmers. Many people looking at it as if the Boko Haram is gaining ground now, with the resurgence of the insurgents is becoming imminent. So they are calling on the military at the same time to restrategize so that to deal with this case, because it's quite disturbing, especially at this time when people have confidence that the Boko Haram militants have been degraded, especially in the area of Lake Chad, where much operations from the multinational joint task forces gaining ground. So this is the situation for now.
So currently, what are the people in this, in Borno State in general, saying about this attack and how the resurgence of Boko Haram has created mayhem and really scary situation with the spate of events?
The major concern of people here is the economy, because the people that were killed in that area are farmers and fishermen, which is the backbone of the economy of that area. And everybody, anywhere in Nigeria, knew about the baga fish, which people patronize in, but it's not only in Borno State, but across the country. So there is this fear because business based on what is coming out from that area, the lectured area is being hijacked by the Boko Haram insurgents and grounding the economy there. And with the little area that the farmers and fishermen are cultivating and harvesting fish there, Boko Haram are now threatening the existence of the people there. And recently, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, during a press conference with journalists, decried so much over what is happening there, calling on the military to establish what did he call it? Establish a battalion there, where the military will liberate the area from the Boko Haram, because he was saying that for over 10 years there is no civil population there. The military are there, and the people are being relocated to some places, living as IDPs and refugees in the neighboring Niger Republic. He is calling, because it is constituency, calling on the government to do everything possible to ensure that the area is made safe for his people to return. And he also declared that much of the economic activity is going there because it's a hub of agricultural produce there, because the beans, the red beans, and grains that are coming from that area is contributing huge to the food security in.
Daily Trust Bureau Chief Hamisu Matazu there, speaking to Sumaya Abubakar a little earlier on the latest attack by Boko Haram in Kukawa local government area of Borno State. Staying with security development, as families of the victims of the alleged Air Force airstrike in Zamfara State, as they mourn their losses, experts and security analysts are raising alarms about the frequent recurrence of military airstrikes mistakenly targeting civilians. Concerns are growing that such incidents will erode public confidence in the Nigerian military. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail traces the timeline of some of these recent tragic military airstrikes in this report.
From the erroneous airstrike on an internally displaced persons camp in Ran, Borno State in 2017 to the Tudunbiri incident in Kaduna in 2023 and the most recent mishap in Zamfara, military airstrikes on civilians have reportedly claimed over 400 lives. According to SBM Intelligence, a Pan-African consulting firm, at least 17 incidental airstrikes between January 2017 and September 2024 have resulted in the death of over 500 people.
This kind of damages they are expected in the fight against insecurity, especially fight against terrorism. But my worry is that why do civilian population that are supposed to be protected by the military also caught in the web of being killed by the same military? This kind of attack is avoidable. What I mean is avoidable is that you can get your actual target right without killing innocent Nigerians that are around where these strikes happen.
Security experts commend the Nigerian military for their ongoing effort to secure the nation, but stress the critical importance of adhering to proper protocols before launching airstrikes to avoid civilian casualties.
So there's what is called all necessary precautions when you're bombing or when you're taking operations in densely populated areas or areas whereby there could be civilian targets. So that means extra caution, extra care is needed. What it entails is that more intelligence, both on the ground and in the air, there must be that collaboration and integration to ensure that all this is avoided. In technical terms also, it calls for the need for use of more precision guided weapons, because you know that there could be that possibility of civilians in the vicinity. and even the timings of the attack. So what it does is that when there is possibility that civilians could be in the vicinity, it calls for more caution, it calls for more discerning use of firepower, and it calls for even verification and re-verification.
In the 2024 national budget, defense was allocated 3.25 trillion naira, which accounts for 12% of the total expenditure of 27.5 trillion naira. Critics argue that investing in advanced security equipment and ensuring accountability within the sector will improve precision and save lives.
Right from the military era to date, monies given to the military is given to the military to go and fight insecurity. Nobody comes to ask questions. I don't think that narrative is correct, because our Nigerian constitution talks about the National Assembly oversighting agencies of government, including the military. So in the event where the military will come with a budget, and at the end of it, the National Assembly don't ask questions, you ask for XYZ, they don't ask questions whether it was according to specification or the standard, or was it below the standard or below the specification that was supplied and all that. At least we should check records. We have seen in this country where fake bullets were supplied or used in this country. So I think that it's not about funding.
The Nigerian Air Force has opened an investigation into the alleged bombing of vigilantes while targeting bandits in Tungarkara, Zurumi local government area of Zamfara State. However, security experts emphasized the urgent need for comprehensive reforms to prevent further unintended military airstrikes on innocent civilians.
Every institution wants to protect itself. So that is where the civilian oversight comes in, to ensure that the military does what is right in terms of the investigation, in terms of improving in training, in terms of improving in the weaponry system, and in terms of improving in the procedures and processes. When this is done, which has to be imposed by the civilian authority or civilian oversight, then you can be sure that this will be minimized.
As Nigerians await the findings of the ongoing investigation into the alleged military airstrike that claimed 16 lives in Zamfara, there is a growing call for the government and military to prioritize reforms and accountability to prevent future tragedies in the war against banditry. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, gunmen have killed 7 people in an attack on Tatara village in Kano local government area of Nasarawa State. The state's police public relations officer, Superintendent Ramhan Nansel, confirmed this development to reporters, stating that the attack occurred on Saturday night. Nansel revealed that upon receiving a distress call, a team of police operatives were dispatched to the scene where 7 bodies were recovered. During the operation, the police pursued the attackers, forcing them to abandon 9 motorcycles as they fled. The Commissioner of Police has convened a stakeholders meeting to console the affected families and has ordered a comprehensive investigation into the attack. In the meantime, police operatives have been deployed to the area to restore security, while Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule is expected to visit the community. Away from security matters, in a historic development, Mojisola Lasbat Miranda has been made the first female Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, marking a significant milestone in the state's political landscape. Miranda's election followed the impeachment of Mudashiru Obasa during a plenary session of the House on Monday. Before her elevation, Miranda served as the Deputy Speaker and represents Apapa Constituency 1. She took her oath of office on the floor of the House and expressed her unwavering commitment to the legislature. In a related development, Mojid Fatai was also elected as the new Deputy Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Obasa's impeachment followed a series of corruption allegations against the former Speaker, including claims that he spent 17 billion naira on repairs to a gate leading to the Assembly, an accusation he has since denied.
and the laws and the rules of the House of Assembly,
and always in the interest of sovereignty,
and always in the interest of sovereignty,
integrity, solidarity,
well-being,
and prosperity of the Federal Republic of
and
Nigeria.
prosperity of
Right Honorable Mojisola Miranda last but become the new Speaker of the House. So it was a resolution concurred to by all members of the Parliament, and so be it. And Honorable Fatai Mojid Adebola as the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. And as we speak, all the principal position has been dissolved, and all the standing committee has been dissolved. So the House, as you can see, we have resolved to work together and ensure that we move the Parliament to the next level. We cannot open our eyes and allow this Parliament to dwindle. We hold the constituents a duty, and we hold Lagos State a duty of ensuring that the sanctity of the House and the integrity of this House is restored. And that is why we have all unanimously agreed to carry out this action to save our image and save the state. There was allegation against financial mismanagement against Mr. Clark and against Mr. Speaker. For equity, fairness, and justice, we feel the clerk should step aside to allow proper investigation, because the new Speaker may likely constitute a panel to investigate.
In other political news, on Monday, police officers were deployed to the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as both the embattled National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu and Ude Okoye, whom the Court of Appeal recognized as the authentic National Secretary of the party, were expected to resume work on Monday. The two men are locked in a bitter dispute over the office, with both claiming the position. Supporters of Anyanwu gathered at the entrance of the PDP headquarters chanting solidarity songs in his support and asserting that he remains the legitimate National Secretary of the party. A minimal police presence was noted outside the building, along with supporters from both factions. Amidst the protests, Anyanwu drove into the premises and went directly to his office, where his supporters cheered him on. In his office, Anyanwu led a prayer session before addressing journalists, stating that the Court of Appeal's ruling had been appealed and the matter was now before the Supreme Court. Elsewhere, Justice Olawonye of Oyo State High Court, sitting at Ring Road in Ibadan, has granted bail to Naomi Silekunola, the former spouse of the Oni of Ife, media personality Oriyomi Hamzat, and the principal of the Islamic High School, Bashorun Ibadan. The court directed each of the suspects to produce 2 sureties with a bond of 10 million naira. Additionally, the trial judge also instructed Oriyomi Hamzat to refrain from conducting any podcasts during the ongoing proceedings. The 3 suspects are facing charges in connection with a tragic stampede on December 18, which led to the death of 35 minors. The parties in the case are now awaiting a further date for the commencement of a fresh trial.
We are going to perfect the bail, God willing, immediately. We have shorties on the ground, and whatever we need to do, we are going to do it. And we want to tell you that on behalf of my client, we express our condolences to the victims of the stampede. It was not a premeditated act. It was just unfortunate that it happened. And we have compassion for those who suffered one loss or the other, and we pray that may the soul of the victims rest in peace.
Staying in Oyo State, nearly 3 years after the passing of the 45th Alafin of Oyo, the late Oba Adeyemi III, Governor Seyi Makinde has officially presented the staff and instrument of office to the newly approved 46th Alafin of Oyo, Oba Hakim Owade. The ceremony took place on Monday at the Executive Chamber of the Governor's Office in Ibadan. The report.
At the event, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde highlighted the importance of the Alaafin stool to the entire Yoruba race, reiterating that under his watch, the Alaafin stool will not be sold to the highest bidder. He warned kingmakers who are still bent on destabilizing the traditional institution of Oyo Kingdom that the present government would prosecute those who have collected money in the process of installing the new Alaafin. Makinde, however, assured that the coronation of the new Alaafin of Oyo will take place in 4 weeks' time.
So, under my watch, I made it very clear that that stool is not for sale. It is not a stool for us to toy with. I met Prince for the first time in my life yesterday. I've never spoken to him in my entire life until yesterday.
In his remarks, the new Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Akim Owuade, promised to work to unify all aggrieved princes and ensure the unity of the Oyo Kingdom.
As I received this staff of office today as the Alaafin of Oyo, I solemnly assure you that with your unwavering support, I will diligently fulfill my duties by the grace of God Almighty. I'm deeply grateful for your presence and encouragement.
Recall that Oba Lamidi Adeyemi was confirmed dead on April 22, 2022. Dignitaries at the event include the Awishe Awo Agbaye, Professor Wande Abimbola, and the kingmakers in Oyo Kingdom.
Back in the north, normalcy has returned to Kano as workers resume their usual activities following the jubilations that greeted last week's appeal court verdict on the emirate dispute. While the situation remains contentious, residents are calling for a peaceful resolution. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim has more on this development.
Following the Court of Appeal ruling in Abuja on the Kano Emirship dispute, Kofar Kudu Palace in Kano became a beehive of activity as residents gathered to pay homage to Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II. Hours later, the Nasarawa Palace was filled with loyalists of the 15th Emir Aminu Ado Bayero. At a World Press Conference, the Kano State government affirmed its right to appoint emirs and welcomed the appeal court ruling. However, supporters of the dethroned emir say the matter is far from over. While the situation remains contentious, some residents are calling for unity and peaceful resolution, emphasizing the importance of reconciliation.
Ni a bukatata a yadda suke duk manyanmu ne gaba daya kuma mutanen yan cikin gida daya.
What we want is reconciliation. They are both from the same home and nothing should come between them. We call on the authorities to bring them together as both are ours. Everything has become politics. Politics has no permanent alliances, but our emirs are like parents to us. The emirate is part of our heritage. The problem started when the emirate was altered. So for me, I see no fault in the ruling reappointing Serki Muhammadu Sanusi. He was the original emir, so the dethroned emir should accept this as fate. During Ganduje's administration, the emir was dethroned and we didn't understand why. Now that Abba is the governor and has reinstated him, we still don't see why. Life is not permanent and one must accept any change with grace and live in peace. For us as students of religion, we urge them to go back to the scripture where Allah says He grants dominion unto whom He wills and takes it away from whom He wills. So I implore both of them to accept the ruling in patience. The call for a peaceful resolution is clear as the people of Kano desire harmony regardless of the outcome of the ongoing dispute. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
The federal government has confirmed the outbreak of the highly pathogenic avian influenza in Kano State. The outbreak is reported to have affected various bird species like layers, ducks, guinea fowl and turkeys. A circular signed by Dr. Tayo Olasoju on behalf of the Chief Veterinary Officer of Nigeria says the risk of the disease spreading during this time remains high. The circular advised relevant agencies and states' veterinary offices to activate surveillance response mechanism to mitigate the risk. The circular recommended steps to be taken immediately to include implementing strict biosecurity protocols to prevent the spread of the disease. Other steps include educating the relevant stakeholders such as poultry farmers, traders and the general public on the risks and prevent strategies, and closely monitor the situation and report any suspicious cases to the relevant authorities. Now, the push to elevate Nigeria's economy into the $1 trillion club has dominated headlines, especially after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reaffirmed his commitment to achieving this goal. But what does this milestone truly mean for the average Nigerian? In this explainer, Chamung Dabeng unpacks the realities behind the figures, shedding light on the challenges, opportunities, and the striking disparities within Africa's largest economy. Her report.
According to Wikipedia, only 20 countries and the EU belong to the exclusive $1 trillion club. None of them are African. However, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to change that narrative. In his New Year address, the president vowed to steer Nigeria's economy into the $1 trillion league, despite the nation grappling with daunting challenges. Since 2020, inflation in Nigeria has climbed steadily due to a cocktail of factors, including currency depreciation, the COVID-19 pandemic, skyrocketing energy prices and rising food costs. The inflation rate has now reached its highest level since 1995, when it hit a record 72.84%. Will Tinubu's ambitious vision become a reality?
The one thing I've noticed is that normally the principal bodies responsible for macroeconomic objectives are the fiscal authorities and the monetary authorities. We know that price stability with tackling inflation is within the purview of the central bank, but the central bank cannot be working at cross purposes with the fiscal side. And if you look at it, they have been working at cross purposes because the central bank has been aggressive. It has embarked on hawkish stance, trying to tackle inflation by reducing the supply of money. Sadly, the more they hike interest rates, the more the supply of money increases, reaching unprecedented levels because the fiscal side is not cooperating.
Despite the central bank's aggressive efforts to curb inflation through consistent hikes in the monetary policy rate, the upward trend shows no signs of slowing down.
I believe that the central bank governor and his team should go back to the drawing board. If you are embarking on a particular stance and it's not giving you the desired results, it means there is a problem somewhere.
Following the removal of fuel subsidies, President Tinubu took a bold step by floating the naira, a decision met with mixed reactions. While it eliminated the multiple exchange rate system, it also caused the naira to lose over a third of its value against major currencies.
Why they got it wrong, they did not sequence the floating well. You cannot be floating your currency at the time that you're owing, at the time that you have backlog of FX that you have not settled. And that made investors and even consumers generally to lose confidence in the naira.
Foreign direct investment is a cornerstone of economic development, but in the past decade, Nigeria's FDI inflows have declined by $19 billion. Despite this setback, President Tinubu remains optimistic, assuring Nigerians that efforts to revitalize the sector are yielding positive results.
The truth is, the president might be jumping the gun in the sense that these are pledges made. Some people have pledged more than $30 billion in FDIs to Nigeria. The Nigerian state and every one of us want foreign investors to come in. But you must have an exit strategy. You don't just put your money into a company or into a country or into an economy without an exit strategy.
Looking at Nigeria's major challenges, Dr. Galadima questions Nigeria's ability to reach a $1 trillion economy in the nearest future.
In terms of purchasing power parity, we have been a $1 trillion economy for a long while. But we're talking about nominal terms. our size of GDP is something in the region of 200 billion. So for us to reach 1 trillion by 2030, the chances are almost zero. Mind you, when he came on board in 2003, he was thumping his chest by the 2026 in 3 years' time. He realized that was not possible. He adjusted to 2030. While we want our country to prosper, we have to tell ourselves the truth. For us to have a GDP of 1 trillion by 2030, the economy needs to grow by a third every year. Are we growing by a third? And by that, we need to grow by almost 10% every quarter. Are we growing at that rate? No. So it's basically a mirage. But there's another angle to it. The GDP is supposed to be rebased this year, 2025. So we are likely going to have a bigger size of GDP than the 200 billion, right? Maybe if we have 400 billion. So it will make it easier to attain the $1 trillion economy. But when you rebase, it's not because there is actually an economic expansion or there is actually any effort or any achievement. It's just that maybe you were getting the numbers wrong and now you're getting the numbers correctly because certain things that were not captured before are now being captured.
Achieving $1 trillion economy, experts say, hinges on tackling key challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, energy deficits, security concerns, and low foreign direct investment. They also stress the need for robust economic diversification, issues that demand long-term strategies and cannot be resolved within 6 years. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the news on Trust TV. Still to come. Price war looms as Chad, Ghana undercuts Nigerian hoarders. More on this and many more stories up ahead. Join us again. Welcome back to the news hour. Thank you most kindly for staying with us. Let's take another look at our top stories. Boko Haram strikes again. 40 farmers killed in Borno. Lagos State Assembly removes Speaker over fraud allegations, swears in first female Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thousands of students from Moshood Abiola Polytechnic in Ogun State who graduated between 2022 and this year are protesting on Monday over the delay in the release of their results. Carrying placards with anti-school management messages, the students shut down the school, blocking access for both academic and non-academic staff as well as vehicles from entering the school premises. Here's the report.
While addressing the newsmen on behalf of the students, a former student leader, Oguntola Sunday Ayomide, said the action of the management of the institution has affected over 5,000, appealing to Governor Dapo Abiodun to come to their aid. Oguntola added that the students were from different institutions who have come to Mapoli for their higher national diploma.
Protest to us is the festival of the oppressed, and we are here to register our utmost displeasure about the injustice being put upon us by the management of this prestigious institution. Well, we graduated a couple of years ago, that was 2023, and ever since our graduation, the management has refused to mobilize us for NYC. They refused to give us access to our statement of result. And this is just one of the many injustices the management has been putting upon us. Recently, they just increased the school fee of the students. They increased it last year and again this year again. For the purpose of our gathering, to register our display, because after our exam, after rounding up exam 2023, to this present moment, we don't have access to our results yet.
Reacting, the institution's head of communication and protocol, Mr. Yemi Ajibola, said the management is still verifying the students' ND results, saying that it has discovered some students submitted fake credentials to the school.
We've written and sent the results and transmitted to their different schools, but many of these schools are not responding on time. Example, one of the schools that responded, out of the 25 students results and transcripts sent back to them, 19 were fake. Out of 25, 19 were fake. So on this note, we told them, we've been on this issue for some time, and we told them exercise some patience. We will bless you.
Meanwhile, the school management has closed down the school indefinitely.
And in neighboring Lagos State, workers' unions in the state-owned media organizations began a 3-day warning strike on Monday to protest the non-payment of the newly passed minimum wage. The workers under the Nigeria Union of Journalists and Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union expressed their frustration over the exclusion from the state Oracle database for salary payment. Staff from Lagos Television, Radio Lagos and Echo FM and Lagos Traffic Radio shut down operations, stating that the strike was necessary due to the state government's failure to meet their demands. The grain market in Niger State is experiencing a sharp decline in prices due to an influx of imports from neighboring countries including Chad, Ghana, Benin Republic and Burkina Faso. This surge in imported grains has led to a surplus which is significantly impacting local traders, suppliers and farmers. As a result, grain hoarders are now facing the threat of substantial financial losses, with their stores and marketplaces overflowing with bags of assorted grains that have no buyers yet. Here's the report.
Niger State is one of the major producers of grains, especially sorghum, millet, beans, soybeans and maize. But grain farmers and suppliers said the steady flow of imported grains has disrupted the market, leaving the local players grappling with a reduced profit as price of key staples such as beans, soybeans, maize, millet and sorghum continue to tumble. The drop in price is partly attributed to companies, especially animal feed producers in Nigeria, turning to buy from neighboring countries, especially Chad, Ghana, Burkina Faso and Benin Republic due to lower costs. Holders who rely on market volatility to maximize profit now live in fear due to this unexpected market shift. The market is moving, but things are down because prices have crashed beyond our expectation. For instance, when beans and soybeans newly came out, we bought it at the cost of 103,000 naira and 105,000 naira, and the price later dropped to 100,000. But today, the price of beans and soybeans have crashed to 80,000 naira. There were traders who bought soybeans at the cost of over 100,000 per bag, with the intent to sell when price goes up, but the situation has changed from what they enjoyed last year. Normally, holders are the cause of hike in price of grains, but look at it now. They are both at higher prices, but the prices are crashing. Right from the beginning of this harvest season, we predicted that price of beans and soybeans will not be as high as they used to be, because our neighboring countries of Chad, Ghana and other countries are bringing their commodities here. Companies in Nigeria now buy from those countries because prices are lower than our own, and companies felt they will get more profit buying from Chad, Ghana and other countries instead of buying from us. For instance, when farmers started harvesting last year, companies were rushing us to buy maize from us. In fact, we couldn't meet up with their demands at this time last year. But this year, companies have completely refused to buy from us because neighboring countries are selling to them at cheaper prices. We have bags of maize piled up in our stores, but nobody comes to buy from us. So we don't think price of grains will go up this year. The only things that are costly now are ingredients such as Maggi seasoning, but price of grains have started crashing. However, not everyone agrees that the price crash is a problem, as consumers want the prices to crash further, saying it will ease household expenses. But farmers argue that the crash in prices threatens their livelihood. If any farmer complains that he will lose if prices continue to crash, he is not being fair. Assuming you bought a bag of fertilizer at 40,000 naira and a bag of maize is currently 52,000 and soybeans is 80,000 naira per bag, you cannot tell me that you are going to lose if you sell at these prices. Last year, maize was sold at 30,000 naira per bag when farmers started harvesting, and the cost of fertilizer last year was around 30,000 naira with just 3,000 naira difference. We don't expect farmers to complain of losses because prices are crashing.
Rice is very costly. Many households cannot afford rice up till now. We thank Allah and may Allah ease our fears. We want prices of grains to drop further. The money you used to buy 10 measures in the past can only give you 5 measures now or less. A measure of rice is between 2,300 naira and 2,400 naira. A measure of meat is 900 naira. We cannot say the prices have dropped because they are still on a high side. Life is still hard, but we pray Allah to bring this to an end. In some places, rice is sold at 2,500 naira. A measure of millet is 1,000 naira. Yam is very costly too. Prices of foods are still on the high side.
The situation highlights the delicate balance required in crafting agricultural policies that protect farmers while ensuring affordable food for consumers. Analysts said without targeted interventions, the ripple effect of this price crash could reshape Niger State's agricultural sector. Abubakar Akote, Trust TV News, Mina.
Worshippers at a church in Orozo, a community bordering the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja and Nasarawa State, were left in shock on Sunday when they apprehended a man identified as Oluwa Timileyin Ajayi carrying the decapitated head of his girlfriend in a poly bag during a church service. The incident, which took place at around 11 a.m. during a Thanksgiving service marking the end of a 7-day fast, has sent shockwaves through the community and gone viral online as graphic images and videos of the suspect and the decapitated head circulated widely. In the video, a police officer in plain clothing questioned Ajayi, who revealed that he had been dating the victim for about a year. When asked about his intentions with the head, Ajayi claimed that, quote, one woman told him to bring the head for her. Social media users have since identified Ajayi as a gospel singer.
What is her name? Her name is Adaju. Which tribe is she? Adaju. Well, for how long have you been together? Like a year. Like a year. I don't know where she has been coming to the house. This woman, I was calling the number was not. No, when they carry on, Jonah. I see like you. I see always. No, my token. My token. My token.
Disturbing scenes there. In other news, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has confirmed legal action against an unnamed female passenger who obstructed an Abuja-bound Ibom air flight, vowing she will face the full extent of the law. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achumugo, on Monday says the irate passenger has been handed over to the police and also been charged to court. In line with the regulations, Achumugo confirmed that the passenger would be prosecuted. He said the NCAA continues to educate stakeholders about unruly behavior and the penalties it attracts. The irate passenger had disembarked from the plane and demanded that her bag be loaded immediately, threatening to prevent the flight from taking off. Despite pleas from different quarters, the angry passenger held the aircraft to ransom till the airport closed and the airline announced the flight cancellation. All right, Yusuf Akogo is standing by for the latest in the stock market.
Welcome to Stock Market Update. I am Yusuf Akogo. NGS opened the week in red as profit taking continued on the trading floor. ASI declined by over 80 basis points to close downward at 0.8%. Of course, the losers for today are Lasako Insurance down 10% to close at 3 naira and 24 kobo per share. Northern Nigerian Flour Mill PLC also down 9.99% to close at 41 naira per share there as well. Of course, Academic Printing Press down 9.85% to close at 2 naira and 93 kobo per share there. Of course, this has dragged down the index downward by 0.8%. Volume of trade 555.8 million shares, value at 8.13 billion naira, in a reduce of 14,259 lead exchange hands among investors. The all share index up there above 105,000 basis points. Now, the top gainers from today's trading, we have Car PLC. Car PLC gained 10% to close at 41 naira and 80 kobo per share. Nimet, an insurance company, gained 9.96% to close at 2 naira and 87 kobo per share. Of course, livestock feed also up as well, 9.90% to close at 5 naira and 55 kobo per share. Looking at top trading equities by volume, we have a Tantalizer PLC lead the table, 48 million shares traded. Universal Insurance Company also 31.20 million shares traded as well. ICO, another insurance company, 30 million volume of shares it traded as well. That's the highlight of Nigeria stock market for today. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate details. And that's stock market update. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Right, to developments on the international scene, Ugandan military prosecutors on Monday added a charge of treachery, which carries the death penalty to the list of violations of military law against prominent opposition figure Kizza Besigye. Besigye, a veteran political opponent of President Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power for almost 40 years, was detained in neighboring Kenya back in November. After being brought back to Uganda, Besigye was charged with illegal possession of firearms and undermining the country's security in a military court, despite being a civilian. He has been held in prison in the capital Kampala alongside his aide, who was also detained and charged. Besigye's wife, Winnie Benyima, the executive director of the United Nations agency, UNAIDS, has said that the charges against her husband are politically motivated. His lawyers have dismissed the charges as, quote, baseless. Well, time now to join Emmanuel Fashemi, who has the latest in sports.
The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, on Monday unveiled the new Super Eagles head coach Eric Sekou Chel at the media center of the Mosui Dabila National Stadium, Abuja. With the unveiling, Chelle has become the 37th coach of the Super Eagles. During the ceremony, the new head coach, who is an attacking-minded manager, said he is ready to work with the crop of players at his disposal, adding that since Nigeria is blessed with football talent, he is positive he can achieve his aim.
We need to make some great projects around this team. We need to motivate this team. We need to help this team like a brother. We need to take your game and improve everywhere.
At the unveiling, the NFF president Ibrahim Gosol asked for support for the new coach to enable him succeed.
On and on and on. So, but the key thing is we want somebody that understands the mentality of African football. And Eric is here, and by the grace of God, he is going to give us the results. The only thing I want from all of us.
The chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, who was also at the unveiling, said Coach Chel needs the support of Nigerians to succeed in his tasks.
So, you all need to come together to support him, to do that. So the National Sport Commission is to support the NFL, we have a new vision of what we are running with this National Sport Commission. We see all federations as our operating officers because they are the ones on the ground to deliver the sport we are managing. So we pray and we believe during our time, nobody is there, any fight, any problem, any federation, what our job is to provide the enablers and to support, make sure whatever they are doing is succeed. Because if the federation succeed, we also succeed. If any federation fail, we will fail.
Eric Chel's first task is to qualify the Super Eagles of Nigeria for the 2026 FIFA World Cup to be staged in USA, Canada, and Mexico. The new gaffer will be in Ikenne from Tuesday to supervise the home-based Eagles who are preparing for the Chan Nations tournament kicking off in February. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
And that is a wrap on Trust TV's News Hour. Do well to follow us across our social media platforms to stay in touch. You can also visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for your time and company. Good night.